Tonight, local grain growers push for genetically modified crops to become legal in SA. And we take a look inside the new oncology unit at the Broken Hill Health Service.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. The state government has opened up discussions on legalising genetically modified crops in South Australia, and it's welcomed news for grain growers in the mid-north, with local farmers eager to utilise some of the more durable strains that the science has to offer.
South Australia is the only mainland state where it is still illegal for farmers to grow GM crops. And it might be putting our farmers at a disadvantage. Those who break the law can expect a hefty $200,000 fine. With this year's grain yields being exceptionally low due to drought, calls for more durable GM crops are heating up.
What we now see is that there are two parallel reviews into genetically modified crops. One is being conducted by the Parliament itself, and the other, the government's appointed a retired professor.
For a number of years, grain growing advocates have been calling on Parliament to look into GM's economical potential. Canola has been at the forefront of the conversation, with its lab-grown GM counterpart offering farmers a Roundup-resistant crop and drought-resistant alternatives.
Is one that's a global question, I suppose, but here in this state, it's going to be important for the government to sit down and consider the science and be objective about that.
For many farmers, the concern is crop durability and how they can manage the planting of fragile soils. It remains uncertain if the new inquiry will lead to a moratorium, with the ban currently set to remain in place until 2025. Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
A number of renewable energy projects around the Port Augusta region could be exempt from paying yearly council rates under current legislation. The council is pushing for the state government to change the laws, saying the money could benefit the town.
Spencer Gulf is on track to becoming a renewable energy hub, with 13 ventures currently underway or about to start. Although some of the larger projects won't have to pay Port Augusta Council anything for their rates.
Well, that's not very fair.
Under the current legislation, big renewable energy projects are exempt from the bills, meaning in some cases, the council could be missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue.
Council believes that there should be that contribution of rates to the community to also help us prosper and grow.
The idea behind the rates exemption law is that these energy projects add to the state's electricity market, effectively lowering power prices. Although the Port Augusta Council says they impact local assets like roads and infrastructure.
At some stage, the people of Port Augusta have every right to question why are we spending money on supporting infrastructure for a project that, one, is outside of our boundaries, and second of all, is not actually providing any contribution.
The Local Government Association of South Australia has delivered a report to the state government, lobbying for change in the rates legislation. Such an amendment to the laws would not only see a windfall of cash for the town, but would ultimately lower the rates bills for local residents. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
The Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal is seeking feedback from Broken Hill locals about potential water price increases. IPART is currently reviewing water and sewerage prices for the city to determine how much will be charged from July next year. Feedback can be given at the Pricing Tribunal's website. The Broken Hill Hospital has a new oncology unit as part of a $30 million redevelopment of the local health service. Patients are now receiving treatment in the brand new facility.
A brand new facility being put to good use. Stage 1 of the $30 million redevelopment of the Broken Hill Health Service was the construction of the Community Health Centre on Crystal Street. Stage 2 is inside the hospital, one upgrade being this new medical oncology and day-only unit.
What happens here is patients come as a day-only patient, so they only come for the time that they're having their treatment. Some patients have a malignancy, so they're treated with chemotherapy. Other patients have medical conditions that may require blood transfusions or iron transfusions or treatment for non-malignant conditions.
Staff had previously been working out of a blood donor panel room in testing conditions. The new purpose purpose-built unit has been beneficial not just for them, but for patients as well.
So the space we have here has 5 separate bays, treatment bays, with chairs, so our patients sit in chairs for their treatment. So 5 separate bays, as well as a self-enclosed treatment room with a bed. We've got a larger office space, bigger storage area. And we as part of the redevelopment, we also got new equipment.
And there's more upgrades to come. The hospital's specialist clinic is also receiving a facelift. The work there is expected to be completed in the coming months. Patrick Royenke, Southern Cross News.
A local charity supporting Eyre Peninsula farmers suffering from the drought is gaining more and more support. Next on the agenda is a fundraiser at the prestigious Line and Label restaurant.
Pockets of the Eyre Peninsula are facing some of the worst dry conditions farmers have ever seen, and a local drought relief fund is starting to gain statewide support.
People are calling up from all over the state and they're wanting to offer their support, so it's been really good that people from out of our area are getting on board.
Even some schools are getting on board.
At Loretto College, Walkerville Primary School, and it's pleasing to see the schools get on board and appreciate agriculture and what agriculture actually means to the South Australian community.
Steve Willis is hoping to raise $120,000 to harvest straw for livestock farmers who don't have enough feed for their sheep. With 42 farmers already registered, he's still on the hunt for more in need.
The support's there if people actually want some of this free feed.
The next event for the charity is a fundraiser this Friday night at the Line and Label, a restaurant reliant on local farming production.
We'll kick off from 5 o'clock, so you can pop down after work, and we'll have a nice drink on arrival, some nibbles from our executive chef.
The tickets for the fundraiser are just $20, where guests will have the chance to hear about how some of the region's farmers are doing it so tough in these drought conditions.
Line and Label, our ethos is to use local produce and support our suppliers and farmers, and they're going through such a tough time that we just wanted to show that we care and we're thinking of them.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, the Mount Remarkable Council welcomes a major funding boost for local tourism. And the first recipient of Peter Teakle's Aviation Scholarship finally gets her wings. Hello again. Foundation Broken Hill has received a major donation from a mining company operating in the Silver City. Perilia has donated $125,000 to the organisation, which helps support the local community.
A generous donation, well received.
Fantastic for us and fantastic for the view of the future of the town.
Perilia has now donated $250,000 to Foundation Broken Hill since 2010, making them the Foundation's first platinum donor.
That just goes into our capital fund. We've been building up the capital fund since the Foundation started over about 18 years ago, and the capital fund is now just over $2 million.
Mr Doherty says the capital fund is never touched, but the interest it gains is used for future projects. To date, Foundation Broken Hill has given back over $1 million through its funding programs.
So Foundation Broken Hill was started to look at the future of the town after the miners leave, and eventually the miners will leave because it's a finite load. And we've been mining it for 130 years, but eventually it's going to run out.
The Foundation wants to strengthen the future of the Silver City. One way their funding helps is through start-up loans for local entrepreneurs.
People, if they've got an idea for a new business in town, something a bit creative, something a bit different, they can make an application through this office here in Broken Hill, and then we look at that application, and then if we think it's a good project, we may interview those people and then make a decision.
For more information about Foundation Broken Hill, visit their website. Patrick Royenke, Southern Cross News.
The Mount Remarkable Council has welcomed a flow of funding from the federal government aimed at improving tourism in the region. The local government says it has a long-term plan to make the region a national and international hotspot.
Biking in the Mount Remarkable district is already a big drawcard for tourists, and it could become even bigger. The local council has plans for a 50-kilometre bike track.
As you've seen, it's from Stonehart all the way through to up to Arabra, and then through Melrose and up to Wilmington.
The rail trail project would tap into old rail lines through the area and convert them into bike tracks for all skill levels on 2 wheels.
So people can go families and with the young ones and ride along the flatter sections, while the downhillers are doing the mountain bike sections.
A report into the feasibility of this lengthy project, as well as future tourism plans of the Melrose Caravan Park, were made possible by $40,000 worth of funding from the federal government's Building Better Regions Fund.
We get these two really good projects that are actually about building the future of the Melrose community.
The report helps form a long-term guide to complete the extensive trail.
It's not the kind of project that has to happen in one hit. So that's why it's important to have a plan. So one way or another, we tackle a section of it at a time.
And with the biking trails attracting more than just local thrill-goers, the council's long-term plan is to see this region become internationally renowned as a biking mecca. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
The Sister to Sister program has held its first event in Whyalla. Police and support services spoke to Aboriginal women today about where to turn in cases of domestic violence. The ladies also enjoyed some pampering with a hairdresser and masseuse on hand. Organisers say they want victims to know they're not alone.
Nobody needs to stay at home behind closed doors and get hurt, and just to make them realise there is services out there that can assist them.
More Sister to Sister events are expected across the region in the coming months, and if you or someone you know needs help, call the Respect hotline on 1800 737 732. Year 11 and 12 students from Whyalla's Air High were busy thinking about life beyond school today. Local businesses met with the students in a speed meeting set up to give them some pointers on how to kickstart their careers.
There's just a little over 3 weeks left of school for Year 12 students. Many are still undecided on what career path they want to take. Today, students from Whyala's Air High School were given some insight from employers.
We wanted to provide that opportunity for those students to see that there are a range of options when they finish school, so not just thinking they have to go to TAFE or university.
16 different organisations took part, ranging from local businesses to some of Australia's biggest employers. Groups of 4 rotated through each table for 5-minute meetings, gaining insights on potential pathways.
Just wanted that 5 minutes for the students to get to know the presenter, really just giving the students a taster of all the things that are available for them.
It's also hoped some students used it as an opportunity to network with their potential employers.
And the presenter's able to collect those students' names, and we can work with those providers to allow those students to have that extra support.
Students say they now have more confidence on what's next.
If my idea doesn't turn out, then maybe able to go into looking at them.
Just testing out options at the moment and just seeing what's going on.
I've spoken to TAFE and university, and they said that there's great opportunities for me there.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The first recipient of Peter Teakle's Aviation Scholarship has finally got her wings. After passing her final exam, 19-year-old Hannah Cash is now licensed to fly small charter planes.
Hannah's dream came true last year when she was awarded the first aviation scholarship from local philanthropist Peter Teakle. And as of this week, she's now licensed to fly solo.
I'm licensed to fly a plane under 5,700 kilos, but I have to be endorsed on a certain aircraft. So the Piper behind me, obviously I learned in this aircraft, so I can fly this one.
Much like getting a learner's driver's licence, Hannah had to log her hours.
I did 63 hours in total, and then 11 hours solo time. And then I was able to do my PPL test last Monday.
But the training wasn't all about taking to the skies. There was plenty to learn from the textbooks too.
That involved things like meteorology, air law, performance, aerodynamics, yeah, a bit of everything.
Hannah has dreamed of becoming a pilot since her and her family were caught in the devastating Victorian bushfires and was inspired by the pilots who saved their lives.
Mostly the 2009 Victorian bushfires, and the passion I grew from watching the water bombers and their dedication and hard work.
While Hannah can now handle small charter flights, the next step is to prepare for a commercial pilot's licence, which she says couldn't have been made possible without the help of the scholarship.
Yeah, I'm beyond grateful for this opportunity. Peter, Barry, the Port Lincoln Flying Club for allowing me to have the plane in Adelaide for so long. It wouldn't have been made possible without all of their hard work and their support along the way.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
Good on you, Hannah. Stay with us after the break. An award-winning Port Pirie bakery opens its third store on the Augusta Highway. And in the weather, it's going to feel more like summer tomorrow. I'll have all the local weather details next. Well, Port Pirie Sweet Tooth has been satisfied with the opening of an award-winning bakery on the Augusta Highway. Baker Bears has won gold for SA's best mud cake for 3 years in a row, and now they've taken the cake once again, opening their third store.
There's something sweet about it. The grand opening of Baker Bears on the Augusta Highway is letting commuters get a taste of one of the town's best-kept secrets.
I literally drove past one day and said, oh, that would be a nice place for a bakery, and it just started from there.
Baker Bears has an impressive portfolio, winning state baking awards 3 years in a row.
So we've won the chocolate mud cake for the state the last 3 years in a row, and 2 of those years we've actually won the champion, which is the highest scoring product of the day.
Its latest pit stop bakery is their 3rd store to open in the region and may just be the start of a new baking empire. From pastries to pistols, this corner stop on the Augusta Highway is turning into a bustling precinct. Located next to the Wolf Winch gun store, Baker Bears will be gunning to bring in some extra clients. Baker Bears will be holding a special opening to mark their 3rd new store in the coming week.
We might just, have some balloons and face painting and just, a bit of excitement for kids and families.
Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Oh, that's making me hungry. And time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. But first, check out this stunning pic of Cal Marina. Thanks to Jenny for sending it in. And remember, if you have a weather shot you'd like to see on the news, email it through to localnews@sca.com.au. Well, it was another lovely spring day around the region today. A warm 26 was the top for Port Augusta, and in Broken Hill and Port Pirie, they both reached maximums of 24 degrees. On the satellite, low cloud over southeastern SA in cool southerly winds is only causing the odd light drizzly shower. Generally, skies are clear elsewhere due to southerlies drying out. On the waters for your hump day, southwesterly winds up to 20 knots, seas at 1.5 metres with a south-southwesterly swell, and the sun will pop up at 6:06 tomorrow morning. Well, gee whiz, it's really going to feel like summer tomorrow as the mercury creeps up into the high 20s and low 30s for most centres. Port Augusta heading for a warm 31 degrees, 29 the top for Whyalla and Port Pirie. And temps are expected to drop a little for Thursday. There's the chance of an odd shower for all centres to end the week. 15 the max for Port Lincoln on Friday. A cloudy one for Cleve on Thursday, 18 the top, and temps will continue to fall slightly by Saturday. And a similar story for Woodness, 17 the max for Friday and a sunny 18 on Saturday. And it's really warming up further up the Gulf tomorrow before temps cool down a little for Thursday. A lovely 24 the top for Port Augusta. Whyalla heading for a top of 20 degrees on Thursday. That's a good 9 degrees cooler. And then fine conditions for Friday with the possibility of a shower, 19 the top. And the chance of some light showers for Kadina as well to end the week. And lastly, cooling off for all centres to end the week here too. The chance of some patchy rain for Friday in Port Pirie and Clare. And after a warm 31 on Thursday for Broken Hill, it'll be a cloudy end to the week, and skies should clear a little by Saturday as temps drop down to 16 the top. So it's certainly warming up, but let's hope we do get some much needed rain over the coming days. And that's all the local news from the team this Tuesday. Enjoy your evening. Good night.